Hey everybody, it's Monday. What am I doing here on Facebook Live? I had a scheduling conflict on Friday, and so we've bumped our topic about how to get a really great software demo for nonprofit CRMs and fundraising systems and event management systems. So it's weird to be here on a Monday, and I'm going to be back on Friday as usual. So thanks for watching Practical Wisdom for Nonprofit Accidental Techies with Maureen Walbioff, coming to you live from my living room in Cape Cod in Massachusetts. So today we're going to talk all about the tips you need to prepare yourself, your team, and the software vendor to really come together and have a really effective software demo. Because these things take time. And if there's one thing most nonprofit folks don't have, it is time to waste. So with that, let's get right into it. I want to tell you a little bit about Annie. Annie is the marketing manager of a mid-size arts and culture nonprofit organization, and she got really overwhelmed in the demo cycle. Her organization had been using a very, very outdated version of a database, and it was falling apart, so she was panicked. She thought that any minute now she wasn't going to be able to have access to her CRM and all that precious data inside of it. So she sort of ran around a little bit haphazardly, trying to find a product that they could move into before the whole thing fell apart in the system that they had been using. Her CEO had kind of tapped her to do this. There was time and money on the line, and she really dug in. She spent maybe a month or two looking at all different products, Googling, asking on message boards and in community chats on Facebook and in other places. And every time she saw a demo of a new CRM, a possible replacement for the craptastic version that they were using, she left those sessions feeling very frustrated and actually had more questions about the product than she did before. And, you know, she really felt, to sum it up, the bubble in her head was, I shouldn't have so many questions after seeing your product in action for 90 minutes or so. And so, you know, I reassured her that her experience is actually pretty common. It is not unusual for folks to feel like super overwhelmed and super swamped after they've seen a couple of products in action, after they've interacted with some account reps or sales reps at different software companies. And, you know, the demos come in so many different flavors. Some people want to do it for a half day. Some people say, we're not going to do a demo at all. It can be very overwhelming to know what the right things to do, how many hours to dedicate to a demo, how many products to look at, stuff like that. It's very easy to see how things can get out of control really quickly, especially with the number of products that there are on the market these days for folks like Annie to look at and evaluate. For better or worse, I have probably spent the past 12 months, probably 40 or 50 hours on software demos, some on behalf of clients, right, leading the product demo cycle and trying to control and steer that crazy clown car so that everybody gets what they're looking for in a demo, and the salesperson or account exec is set up for success, knows what the client is really interested in seeing and what they're not interested in seeing. And sometimes I get these demos on my own. It's me and someone, a salesperson or a customer service person at a CRM or a product company, because it's floated across my radar screen. I don't know anything about it. I need a demo too to get a sense of the kind of organization or the kind of functionality that might be a really good fit or not for that new product. So, you know, I've seen good demos, I've seen some sad demos, I've seen everything in between, and I'm here today to give you my 6 power pointers so that you can really get the most out of your precious time and your precious brain power, because we can only hold so much up here. Let's start by really being clear about what the goal of a demo is. The goal of seeing a CRM demo or an online fundraising or email marketing product demo is to give you a sense of the product in action. Like, what might it be like for me to use it to do a piece of my job? What would it be like for me to set up our e-newsletter in this tool? What's it like to actually assemble the audience and send it out using this tool? Do I like the user interface? Can I change things and customize, what I see when I log in? Where is the data stored? How do I get trained? Like, there's a lot that goes into what is in your mind when you're looking at that product, especially if it's for the very first time. So the goal is really for you to get a sense of what it might be like to use it, like play pretend, practice, without your hands on the keys, and also and equally to get a sense of the way that the software company conducts itself. Representing the software company, does the person that you're working with, are they organized? Are they on time? Are they responsive? Are they interested in your questions, or are they frustrated by your questions? So you're sort of gauging not only the product, but a potential partner. What is it going to be like to work with this company for the next 3 to 300 years, depending on how frequently your organization moves in and out of things. So knowing that you've got a people goal, like what's the company connection going to be like, and a product goal, can I see myself using this? Does it make my job easier, harder, the same? Here's the 6 power tips. Ready? The first is for you to assemble the right team inside your organization. How many people? More than 1, probably more than 2, less than 20. You do not want like rows of people all looking at a screen. The best way to figure out who should sit on a product demo are to figure out the different areas of work. If you've got a member manager, if you've got a major gift officer, if you've got a webmaster or a tech person who's going to be responsible for managing things, your database administrator for sure should be in on that demo. So usually like 6 to 12, 4 to 12, something like that, is a good place for you to start. If you're a small organization with a small team, you may only have 3 people, and it's the 3 of you who run the whole organization. That's totally fine. Sometimes people bring board members in, especially if there's going to need to be approval at the board level to move forward with a product or approve the expense of moving and using something new. Be very judicious with those board member influences, okay? From me to you, that's maybe like the 7th tip. From me to you is the board member maybe comes in at the end, maybe doesn't get to sit around and look at the whole thing just the same way that your teammates do, so be cautious if you can. Find people who represent different functional areas in your organization, and always try, if you've got Zoom or some other way to record the demo, the screen share, and the audio, do it, because someone may be sick and may not make it to the demo. Maybe there's 27 people who are all interested in your organization and you're only going to have 12, so those other 15 people may want to watch the recording. So try to record it if you can. If nobody watches it, no big deal, but at least you have it if you need it. That's tip number 1, the right team. Tip number 2 is in timing, like how many demos should you have in a week, in a day? My guidance here is to space them out. If you see product A on Monday and product B on Tuesday and product C on Wednesday, by Thursday, you're going to need a mental health day, first of all, and they're all going to start to blur together. You kind of need a little bit of a palate cleanser, or little brain cleanser in between seeing those demos. So if you can at all, 1 per day, with a day of no demos in between. So sure, you can see product A on Monday, do your normal job on Tuesday, product B on Wednesday, back to the grind on Thursday, final product demo on Friday. That's a good way to use a week and give people a minute to sort of digest what they saw in the previous demo and differentiate between the products, because it's very common for them to start to blur together, like it or not. So space them out. When you're spacing, though, try to avoid a giant gap between your first two products and your last product. If you've got a couple of demos the first week of May, for example, and you're not seeing the final product demo until the very end of May or early June because of scheduling, that's a gap that can be challenging, because we're all right here, and it can be very easy for somebody to say, there's no connection for me in my brain between demo 1, demo 2, 3 to 4 week gap, demo 3. I kind of have to do a lot of remembering and refreshing my memory of what happened in demo 1, what I liked, didn't like, same thing with demo 2. So, one a week is okay, a couple a week is okay, but try not to have them squished together or too many gaps where people can forget. So that's tip number 2, is about the spacing. Tip number 3 is about transparency. Being transparent with the people who are going to show you the demo. Share your requirements. Tell them what you want to see. We are really interested in being able to do sustaining gifts, or we are really interested in designated giving, or data visualization, or event registration. Whatever your top things are, make sure that the person who's going to show you the product knows that, because they're going to have an idea of how the demo should go, because it's their job, and they probably have a preferred or a required methodology for how they tour people through the product. And it is totally okay for you to say, I don't care. I don't care about membership. We don't do membership. It's cool that it does it. Please don't spend any time on that. So sharing what you want to see. And 2 more pieces to this. The first is share if you want to see things created. It's one thing to see a lovely email template for a newsletter, or like a mind-blowing event registration form, but you want to see at least a couple minutes of them building it. This is what happens. We start with a blank form, and then we put the picture behind the form, and then you're going to set up your giving levels. We're going to decide which fields are required. Here's where you label that the donate button says give now, or support, or donate, or make your gift. You want to see how to use it, not just the end results, and not just the data and reporting, although that's always important. So that's like being the driver and directing what you spend time on in the demo. And if it goes a little sideways and they start to show you member management, it's totally fine to politely say, Sarah, I appreciate the fact that the product does this, but we're really more interested in X. Can we pivot and go over there? And they will totally follow your lead. Really. So don't be afraid to speak up in the demo if you're not seeing what you need to see. It's not just the end results, it's the building too. And then the other thing that I really encourage people to share is your budget. How much can you spend on a product in a year? How much can you spend to move in? Because there's all different ways to slice and dice modules inside products. Maybe you don't need advocacy today, but you do need it in January. Don't get it now. If you can not use it and not pay for it now, then add it in later when you know that you do need it. Sharing that stuff, being transparent, begins a trusting partnership between you and this potential partner, this potential software vendor. So for you to say, listen, I got 15,000 to move in, or 3,000 to move in, or we're going to have to DIY it because I have nothing budgeted to help me move in. This is what we're paying for our products now. I'd like to keep it level. So we'd like to be able to spend $150 a month, completely making it up, or $1,000 a month, whatever it is. Give them that information. They're going to use it to be helpful, not to like say, well, you know, she's got $10,000 and normally it's 8, so I'm going to charge her 10 because I know that's what she has. That's really not how things work, at least in my experience. So be upfront what you want to see and how much you can spend when you're arranging that demo. Those are your expectations. They can't meet them unless you tell them they can't read your mind. So that's the 4th tip. Prep the logistics, like have a room set up. Is everybody going to dial in remotely and look at their own laptop or computer and see and hear what's going on? Or do you have a conference room where everybody's going to gather and they're all going to look together? Is the salesperson going to come in and do a demo on site for you? Or is this going to be totally remote? They're calling in just like you're calling in. So have those arrangements. Talk about that with the demo person or the salesperson. Make sure everybody understands we don't have an HDMI cord. So you're going to have to bring your own, and I'm going to have the Wi-Fi password for you, and here's how to get to our office if somebody's coming on site. So those little niceties make it much smoother. If someone shows up and you're still figuring out what room you're going to meet in and not everybody is gathering on time, it sets the tone for kind of like not a great demo. And that's not on the salesperson necessarily. That might be on you. So that might be one of your responsibilities. The other thing about logistics is it's technology. There could be glitches. One of my favorite things is to get through the end of a demo and there were no tech glitches. It's kind of like a Dear Diary moment because somebody's audio isn't going to work, or the internet is slow, or a page is loading slowly. So be patient with that stuff. It's technology. It should all work. It doesn't always work the way we expect. Ask people to come in to either the virtual room, log in, or arrive in your meeting space if it's on site or you're gathering to see the demo. Ask everybody to come in about 5 minutes early. That way people can settle, they can run and get water, have their little chit chat, whatever, and be present and ready to go. 90 minutes for a demo is plenty. Don't need more than 90 minutes. Some people will want to do longer. I try really hard to keep things in 90-minute bites. You can always have 6 follow-up things going deep on donation forms, going deep on reporting, going deep on major donor moves management. Don't expect to see everything in that first demo as deeply as you might need to see it. So remember those goals, right? I want to see the tool in action, and I want to know what it's like to maybe work with the folks at this company. Debrief meetings. Number 1 tip, even though it's the second to last tip for you today. Have a demo debrief meeting immediately after the demo. So let's pretend it's on site, right? Salespeople come in, you've got muffins, everybody gathers, good conversation or not. You see the product in action, lots of questions. Salespeople go, you show them out, they get in the elevator and they start to leave your building. Give people a couple of minutes to just regroup, have a bio break, get a cup of coffee, check their email, do whatever they need to do. But within 20 minutes after the demo's over, 30 tops, bring everybody back together, and you're going to ask everyone the same 4 questions. And here's what they are. What did you see that you liked? Get the positives. I really liked how easy it is to make copies of things. I really liked the fact that they have tagging and easy source codes. I really liked the fact that we can embed things on our existing website. All those likes. And then the second question is, and what did you see that you didn't like? Because there will be those things too. Didn't really like how the login and password, the password forces a change every 60 days for security purposes. Making that up. There are going to be things people liked and things that they feel strongly about that they didn't like. So those are the first 2 questions. Third question is, what questions do you have? What do you need to see more of? Well, we didn't really get into moves management and how, our pipeline for major donors. We didn't really spend time on grants. I don't have a full sense of how a supporter would log in and update their payment information. You're going to get all those things from different people based on their jobs and the things that they were thinking about when they saw the product in action during the demo. So what did you like? What didn't you like? What questions do you have? And then the most important question, based on what you saw today, does this product make it to the next round? Or are we saying, thank you, but no thank you, this is not a good fit? And we should have a Facebook Live about how to break up with a software vendor. And actually write that down as soon as we're done, because I think that's a great idea. How do you break up with people or cut them loose in a way that is compassionate, gives enough information so people know where they hit the mark and didn't. So the debrief meeting, if you've got 5 people in your demo group, everybody's looked at this thing, you're going to start with person 1 and you're going to ask them all 4 questions. Likes, dislikes, questions, does this make the cut to the next round? Then you're going to go to person 2 and ask them all 4 questions. You can set up a Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet to write down, document the answers that people gave to those 4 questions. And as you see every product, product A, here's the debrief worksheet for that product. Here's the debrief worksheet for product number 2. And that will help you guys remember what you said, what you liked and didn't like. Because after you see a few things, it's very likely it's going to get all mushy and blurry in your head. Debrief meeting is critical, critical, critical. And then finally, you know, it's really good to go deep. So you may have an events team or your DBA, your database administrator, who really needs to go deep on a thing. It's fine for them to have one-off demos or spend some time going deeper on things that you didn't see in the first demo, but be respectful of the salesperson's time, okay? If you feel like 30 minutes on email building is useful, then it's cool for that email marketing person to go have a little bit deeper of a look. But you don't want, you know, all 20 people going and asking for another hour. It's not a good use of time. There's too much that's going to happen and too many conversations in those separate demos that you might not be a part of, might be important for you to be a part of. And you don't have 20 hours to give. So be really discreet with the follow-up stuff, but be open to that. And sometimes that's the best way to get those questions answered. I didn't see anything about how to check in guests on my phone. Okay, well, we're going to take a little look at that. You usually have a follow-up demo with your finalists, so this is not the be-all and end-all. It's just enough to let you know whether this is a prospective good tool for you to consider or not. They're not all going to be. Sometimes you're in a situation and you love them all. Maybe because you're like Annie and your database is crumbling before your very eyes and anything is better than what you have now. But mostly there's going to be some standouts. Mostly people will say, yeah, it was pretty easy for us to find our top 2 finalists if we looked at 3 or 4 products. Okay, and there are a couple of use cases that for products that are a little different. Little green light, some of these early to market products for smaller organizations or smaller teams don't do demos at all. They give you a 30-day free trial of their product and they want you to play around with it. Not every product is going to give you a demo, so when you leave this Facebook Live today, make sure that you check that out. Don't assume. Most of them do, not all of them do. You may want to use that new product, that little green light, for example, for free for 30 days or a week or so. Play around with it and ask yourself those questions. What did I like? What didn't I like? What questions do I have? Does this make it to the next round? And get a couple of other people on your team to play with that free trial as well. Come back together and share your thoughts in that debrief meeting. It's a little weird if you've seen demos of 2 products and 1 product you can't see a demo of, but I've seen that happen, and I've actually seen the non-demoed product get picked because it was just the best fit. People really liked it. They didn't need a demo to get to that point. That's use case 1. Your product that you're looking at doesn't do demos or does group demos and you can't really customize it at all. The other demo that's a little different is, of course, Salesforce, because it's a little different all the time. Salesforce is not going to show you a demo typically. You're going to need to work with an implementation partner, a prospective partner who would set Salesforce up for you, move your data in, train your team, and support you. And there are many, many, many nonprofit Salesforce implementation partners out there. So your best bet is not to go to Salesforce directly if you're interested in a demo, but to reach out to a couple of implementation shops, share your information, have a little discovery conversation, find out whether you guys might be a good fit, and then ask them to give you the demo of Salesforce rather than expecting Salesforce, the entity, salesforce.com, to have somebody show you a demo. It's just not, usually doesn't work that way. And each implementation partner for Salesforce has a slightly different approach to show you the tool, slightly different setup in their demo instance, slightly different mix of apps that they might recommend to add functionality to native Salesforce CRM. Finally, write things down. Okay, this is the best advice I can give you. Document the conversation that you have with the Salesforce or Salesforce partner or software vendor. I talked with Mike. This is what we talked about. I gave them all this information. All right, Kate, I'm glad you think this is useful this afternoon. The search can be time consuming. It's definitely going to take time. It's going to cost you money to move. And the demo cycle is really where you have more control than you think that you do. So take it, use it, make friends, be honest and transparent. Okay, so those are my pointers for the software demo cycle. The last thing I want to say before we wrap it up for this afternoon is that if you are in the greater New England / New York, Manhattan area, there are lots of opportunities in June to see me live and come get trained up or come attend a session or a workshop that I'm doing. Philanthropy Partners of the Cape and Islands out here in my neighborhood. On June 5th, we're doing a How to Pick a New CRM fundraising system for your nonprofit. That's on June 5th, Philanthropy Partner Cape and Islands in Hyannis. New York City, the AFP fundraising day of Manhattan is on the following Friday, the 14th, I think. Yeah, the 14th of June. That's an action-packed agenda. I'm going to be doing a session all about using technology to enhance your donor experience. And it's kind of geared for smaller shops. So that might be a good one. If you're in like the Connecticut, New Jersey, New York area, go register and attend. It's in Midtown. It's a great conference. And then finally, the following week, on Tuesday, the 18th of June, I'll be with the AFP of Northern New England. I love those guys. In Concord, New Hampshire, doing an hour-and-a-half workshop with them, chatting about the smart approach to raising money online. Like, what should you really focus on? You can't do everything. How do you make sure that you're not leaving online giving on the table, and that you're maximizing your ability to get money and support in through an online channel? If it's something that's not working for you, you think you should be raising more money. Most of us think we should be raising more money online. I'm really going to give people the skills and like the tips that they need to go back to their orgs and put some things in place before end of year giving, which is like almost 6 months away now. Not good. So I will put links to all of these trainings and events. If you happen to be in the New England or New York area, would love to see you there, meet you, answer your questions, and kick around what's going on for you with online technology for your nonprofit. We will be back here, same time, no, different time, same place, Friday, every Friday, 12:30 Eastern, and we are going to talk about project management software. If you're tired of people emailing things or losing things in the Google folders from hell, there are lots of project management software out there. Hey, Sam is here at the very end. Good to see you. We're going to talk about PM tools. Some are free, some are a little bit of money, some are expensive, and which one you might want to try getting your team to use on a nonprofit technology project. They can be fantastic for keeping things organized and keeping everybody on the same page. So we're going to talk about some popular products and how you might want to decide which one to test in your organization. So if you've got questions about the demo cycle, if you want some free advice, or you want somebody to help you detangle what's going on in your selection process, totally get a hold of me, Maureen at meetmaureen.com. Whether we work together or not, I love talking with folks and giving people free advice. So don't be a stranger. Ping me and we'll schedule a 20-minute call and you can tell me what's going on and I'll give you some of my advice. So next for the end of the week, PM tools. And thank you so much for tuning in today. We will see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you when we hit Friday. Thanks, everybody.